everybody, and welcome to another installment of Advanced Solo Queue Statistics with your host and subject, Gelati. As usual, let's get the compromise games out of the way. There were three of them this month, as well as one dodge. The dodges were 3 LP, so I lost that. These are not, once again, not factored into the numbers that you see here or the win loss that you see here. So that's the usual. I just always like to remind people and keep track of that for myself. So diving right back into it, you can see that my highest placement this month was 86 LP in Diamond 3. So I went from getting Diamond for the first time last month to Diamond 86 LP in Diamond 3, almost up to Diamond 2 promos. I did work this month. I went 40 and 26, including 4 and 1 in promotional series. KDA was slightly up. Still not a good KDA by any means, but I gave green because it's up a little bit. Still playing a lot of Karthus too, so that factors into that. Team KDA, just keep track of. One of the things I wanted to point out here was I went on an 11-game winning streak, and I also won 13 out of 14 in that streak. I think I actually went on to win 16 out of 18 in that set too. So pretty impressive. That might be my longest win streak ever in ranked. So that kind of contributed to me being here. So I'm expecting a little bit of normalization coming into next month. I'll probably settle in here for a while before I move up. So let's move on here. LP gain loss normalized pretty much. I mean, I had a couple of games where I lost 13. So I was either playing against very good people or very bad people. I'm not really sure. So just because the MMR gets really wacky, especially if you do queue a lot, which I did, and we'll get to that later. My average CS numbers are up quite a bit. Now my opponents improve. My average CS per game went up by 16. My opponents went up by 8.5. So while I am improving, my opponents are also improving. But if I can outscale that, if I can gain more than they're gaining, then I'm okay with it. So I'm still ahead in that aspect. And that's, that average CS per game is shown kind of in the average CS per minute, which is up as well. So P kills, that's not a big deal. High CS, those are just for outliers mostly. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. The combat grades. So other than getting a little bit more jungle help and a little bit less jungle help, or a little bit less jungle help from my opponent compared to last month, the combat grades are down. So my lane effectiveness, I'm actually like the opposite of traditional like solo queue, like whining and complaining, which is I lose lane and then I win the game. So I don't know if that's mental fortitude or just my approach to the game, but for some reason I'm having a pretty easy time just losing lane and being okay with it and getting my farm and creating inevitability that way. And that's kind of the playstyle that I've melded myself into or melded myself to play, and it's working for me, so I'm going to continue to do it. Contribution grades, however. Okay, so positive contribution went up. That's a good thing. Negative contribution went way up, so that's a really bad thing. So my net contribution score for this month was an atrocious -4. For those of you that don't know what contribution grades are, it's basically I have if you go to the how-to video, I actually explain this, and if you go over to the blog, I'll put links in the comments or in the information for you guys to check it out. But contribution grades are my kills and assists divided by team's kills and assists for positive contribution, and my deaths divided by team's deaths for negative contribution. And then I take the average over all the games, and for positive and negative, and you get this number here. So that's where that comes from. Specific games, I had 26 positive games and 40 negative games. However, I had a positive record in both. So this again kind of this has been kind of a trend the past 2 months, and as well as a lot of months from last season and from earlier this season. I would see this happen once in a while where I'd have negative contributions, like very bad negative contributions, and I'd have significantly better win-loss ratio in negative contribution games. Now, I don't know if this is just because I tend to be like the martyr for my team. Like, I'm okay with dying because I can keep a level head about it, or not. Or maybe it's just sometimes you got to play aggressive, and if you're playing for KDA, which is kind of like playing for your contribution, then you're not always going to profit. I think it depends what champion you play too. That's a lot to do with it because I was playing LeBlanc and Ari for a long, long time, and on those champions, you don't want to be dying a lot. Uh, or well, it's less profitable to die a lot than it is on a champion like Karthus or Ziggs or something like that. So that probably has a lot to do with it as well. Um, Moving on to damage statistics, damage stats are significantly up. Last month, 22 was a high number for me. 22% of damage to average. Percent of damage to champions, which is like the percent of my team's total damage to champions. So it was 22 last month, which was a very good number. 24.65 without the support games. It's now up to an average of 25.44 and 27% on average of my team's damage. So that's pretty good. That's getting up to. Those are the kind of damage numbers that you should have as a mid laner at this rating. So I feel like I'm performing up to standards on that. To be honest, I'm cheating a little bit using Karthus so much, but if that's what's helping me get here and that's what's helping me maintain consistency, then that's what I'm going to keep doing. Gold statistics. We talked about CS numbers being up and CS per minute being up. Obviously, the gold statistics are all going to be pretty improved across the board. I'm up to. I finally peaked at 400 a minute. In non-support games, like getting 400 gold a minute is a pretty good number. That's like par for the course from this point on. Like if you're not getting that kind of gold total, then you don't belong in Diamond really. At least in like solo lanes anyway. So I was pretty happy about that. That's sort of a mini milestone you want to get to. A lot of the pros average like 450 to 500. So that's good. I'm going to keep shooting for that. The only bad one in terms of income was that enemy AD carry gold per minute went up. So I think I got to focus more on maybe not playing aggressively, but getting my AD carry, like my lane partner, who was almost 100 gold per minute behind. Oof. Getting my lane partner up to snuff or up to par with the other AD carry in this case. So that's going to be. We'll talk about that later when we get to the support because I had some problems there. Most played champion once again was Karthus. I went 26 and 12, so that's very very nice. 26 and 12. Average CS per minute was up. Well, actually down for specifically Karthus. The per minute was per minute was up. No, per minute was down. Per minute was down 0.4. I'm like reading two different things here. KDA improved, however. I'm getting 12. I added a bunch of assists, added a little, half a death more per game, and like a quarter of a kill more per game. But the assist went up by like 2.5. So that's good. Average enemy CS was roughly the same. So that's good. Lane effectiveness, I wasn't losing as hard, but I was losing still. So not necessarily. I mean, Karthus tends to lose lane. It's not really a big deal. You're just trying to create inevitability through your farming. So that's kind of how that goes. Roaming grade was down. That was substantial. I opted more to farm, and that's where you see the farming numbers increase, but the roaming grade decrease. So I was using my teleport more to get back to lane and farm this month than to gank bot or top or wherever. A lot of times that's just whether the opportunity presents itself. So over this kind of sample size, it's kind of hard to see. But I do know that in my head, that's what I was preferring to do. So average game length was a little bit longer, but pretty much the same. Average damage to champions was actually slightly down on Karthus, but on my other champions it was up. So this is the contribution score kicking in again. You see, like I was positive record all through this, including the 27 negative games I had. I played half as many champions this month as I did last month. I played 28 last month. I played 14 this month. So that's actually that's a habit I've tried to get into, being consistent, like playing the same champions over and over. And I would advise most people to do that. Pick a couple in each role and specialize, and it just makes things more consistent. Like when you start doing all these different champions, you'll just like throw games because you're trying to remember halfway through laning phase like what exactly what you're capable of a lot of the time. So duo queue statistics. I do it a lot once again, as I've been doing the last couple months. This month I had a positive record. I went 29-18. Played 5 games with my buddy Tuba. Went 4-1 with him, and 42 games with my AD carry for my fives team, and went 25-17 with him. Match time statistics. Oh, where did my graph go? Oh, there it is. Okay, let me pull this up here. Okay. Oh, that's a little bit tougher to see actually. So we'll just do this. Okay. So match time statistics. Average game length was up a minute 6 longer. So longer games help me out because I'm a much better longer game player, including an hour and almost an hour and 2 minute marathon match, which was cool. You see in the 35 to 40 minute mark, I'm 12-2. Like that's my wheelhouse. That's where that's why I play really really well, and that's why I prefer to play games because I feel that I play strong there. And this is pretty much a graph of the match time distribution that you can see here. So you can see the green is wins, the orange is losses, and the red is the total number of games that happen within that time slot. So there's that. Moving on to pick order statistics, I want to keep this moving. I'm trying to keep the videos a little bit shorter than I usually do. I was first pick a lot last month. I was first pick a lot once again this month. Average pick position went up, so I was higher in the pick order more times this month. As you can see, I had 21 and 21 and 4th and 5th pick last month. I had a winning record in all but 5th picks, so that's good. Most frequent opponents, a lot of Yasuo, because I've been not banning it. A lot of Zed, because he's good again. A lot of Akali, because she's a solo Q terror right now, and she's getting pretty popular. And the Katarina is strictly that's strictly a people counterpicking Karthus thing, but I don't seem to have a problem with it because I usually just take Exhaust and I do a penetration build and just kill her. So my strongest matchup was against Katarina. I was 4-1, and a lot of these numbers just reflect a strong matchup. Nothing too outstanding, really. Less Oriana this month, which is cool. The weakest matchup this month, I didn't have a single losing matchup in which I played a certain champion more than 3 games, so that was kind of cool. I had a multi-game summoner. I played against Just Scorch, I guess his name is. I beat his Kassadin and then lost to his Xerath. They were back-to-back games too, actually. So, situational statistics. These are mostly First Bloods. I gave up 8 First Bloods this month and only got 2 First Bloods and 3 First Blood assists. So, not very good. I mean, my record remained good, but that was mostly just because of good win-loss. But I think I need to be a little bit more careful around the 3-minute, like the 3:30 mark, which is when junglers usually gank. And I need to be a little bit less, maybe a little bit less aggressive in lane because I tend to be aggressive when I'm feeling my opponent out. Positional statistics. I went 46-32 last month in mid lane. I went 37-17 this month. That's a pretty sweet win percentage. You can see all the numbers kind of reflect that, besides the First Blood number, which is bad. I didn't play any AD carry this month. I played 8 support games, and I'm still losing at support. I think I'm just dying too much. I have 7.38 deaths per game, and on the supports that I play, I shouldn't have that many. So, this is again going to be like the number 1 goal for next month is to shore up the secondary role for me. I played 4 games in top lane. I played 4 different champions in those 4 different games. Much worse off than I did last month. I did not do well last month. Or I did much better top lane than I usually ever do in top last month. Did not do so this month. And no jungle games this month. The longest record in the first game of the session, I've been improving with the first and last game, and that record remained the same. Single sessions, I was 5-0, which is actually kind of cool. I don't think I've ever done that before. I think even close last month, but undefeated in single game sessions, that's cool. The longest session I played this month was only 5 games. Now, that might have something to do with consistency also. Like, I'm not playing tired. I'm not overplaying. I'm not straining myself. So, that's going to be something I'm going to monitor as well. But, 5 game sessions, pretty solid. I was time of day. I was 22 and 10 in my statistically most comfortable block, which is the night block, and that's historically almost always been the case for me. Um, Other than that, pretty even. Day of the week, nothing too outstanding. Most of my games played on Sunday. 17 and 10 on those days. Music, this is just mostly something I track for myself. Usually I don't have a winning record when I'm listening to dubstep, but I went 23 and 10 this month, so maybe I was feeling the wub wub. Okay, moving now to the goals here. Um, so my farming numbers continue to improve, but I'm still dying entirely too much. So I failed this goal. This was a goal I set for myself. This is in July, not June. So I failed this goal, and actually I'm going to kind of retain that for next month. Support, I wanted to work on sticking to Nami, Thresh, Zyra, or Leona to bring some consistency to the support position, which I failed because I started experimenting with Zillion and Morgana, but I generally just didn't perform well, so I failed that as well. Bring the farming focus to other characters besides Karthus. So my Karthus farming numbers actually went down, but my other mid champions went up. So that's good. That's something I want to improve on. So that was a success. So I got 1 out of 3. Plus I got my bonus. I wanted to get the Diamond 4. I got the Diamond 3 and almost the Diamond 2. So that was good. Goals for next month. I really, really need to cut down the negative contribution. I know I'm playing Karthus a lot and everything, but especially when playing support and non-Karthus mids, I really just need to die less, and I need to kind of make a conscious effort to do that. And I've tried to make a conscious effort to do that, but apparently I haven't, and I need to kind of check myself here. So I put seriously cut down the negative contribution. Pretty much just dying. 2, I want to improve support performance, no matter who I'm playing. I clearly was tired when writing this. That's another situation where I just need to die less. Negative contribution will help, and I want to worry more about boosting my AD carry than me making plays. So I think that's kind of a philosophy shift that I should make, and it's how I used to play, but how I haven't been playing recently. So and I used to have success doing that, so we got to go back to that. And then I want to maintain farming numbers across the board and, once again, cut down deaths. So notice how I mentioned die less in all 3 of these. That's kind of the main macro goal for the month. So, and bonus goal of Diamond 2, which I think is very doable. So that's going to be it for this edition, guys. Thank you for watching. And I'll be streaming shortly after this is released. And I hope you guys can tune in and check and ask questions. And if you guys have anything else, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.